Welcome to the Bringing Intimacy Back show, where intimacy is real. If you desire to intimately connect with yourself, significant other, children, family, friends, community, and higher power, then this is the show for you. We explore intimate topics, inspiring life stories, spirituality, and insightful tips on strengthening relationships. The show is hosted by Dr. April and her co-host, Coach K. Let's get this episode of the Bringing Intimacy Back show started. We share with you today the secret power to intimacy to create the life you love or love the life you create. Now here's your host, Dr. April, and her co-host, Coach K.
I'm Mike. Sorry about that, guys. Welcome to the Bringing Intimacy Back show, where intimacy is real. How you doing, Coach K?
I am doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Yes. And I was just listening to our opening tune, and it's talking about how do you create the life you love, or love the life you have. And so then I was thinking, guess what? Today, we are talking about how to create your dream relationship.
Yes, and I love it. I'm here for every moment of this, especially who we have that's going to be talking about this.
Yes, and definitely because I've worked with so many people out there, especially women who are struggling, and I was there myself. So it's like, how do you find the person? How do you create a life you want? You get so stuck with so much busyness and life, this and that. So I am excited. But before we get into that, if you're out there listening and you want to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And before we get into our main topic, of course, in this show, we always do highlight a nonprofit. So our nonprofit for this month of April we're doing a nonprofit called Safe Children Coalition. They do a wonderful job to protect children, families, and build community. So it's www.sccfl.org. Charity of the month.
Got to keep our children safe.
Yes, definitely. That's because the children are the foundations of the next community, the next thing that, will bring us to our next part in life. But what also with children, and people don't realize, parents don't realize, they build relationships based on what they see us do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's learned, inherited in their DNA, but definitely learned.
Definitely. And so when you're thinking about a partner, or maybe you've been divorced and you want a new partner, it impacts your children
Heavily. Crazy enough, I asked my daughter, my oldest daughter, she's 23, I think. Hope I didn't get that wrong. But I asked her last night, I said, do you watch me and Dad and you think that you have a good, hold on what type of relationship you want? And then you're like, well, I don't want to deal with all this foolishness that y'all deal with. She said, actually, I do. And that's why I'm very particular about who I spend time with and who I, welcome into my life, because I know that it's work. Mm-hmm. And so I'm happy that I'm able to give that to our children. We have 5 of them. So, for them to be able to see all aspects of building a relationship and how we build our relationship with them. So it's very important.
Definitely. And I feel like I've been blessed. I had great parents who were like role model of, and they still are, in the sense of how they met, their friendship, their connection, and that kind of stuff. And so when I'm talking with people, and sometimes they're in these relationships, and I've said to a woman or a man, is this the kind of relationship you want your child to be in? And they're like, no. Then I'm saying to myself, yeah, then why are you, doing that? But it all depends on what you attract. And so I am really excited that we have a great guy who's been around for some years, but he looks so young.
Mhm.
Yes. And he's an expert at dating and how to create that dream relationship, especially if you're women like many of us who are very busy, got so many things to do, and we're like, how do we find a decent person?
Yeah, that powerful woman.
Yes. So when we come back, we're going to be joined with Evan Marc, and he is going to explain to us about how to create your dream relationship. We'll be back in a moment.
Sex should not be the elephant in the room. The fourth ebook of the Improving Intimacy book series, From Bringing Intimacy Back, It's All About Sex, helps you navigate every which way you can tend to your sex life. Pulling out all the stops, dive into the sensual read about sex toys, silky linens, and date nights. Improving Intimacy, It's All About Sex is available on Amazon, Kindle, Audible, and paperback. Search Dr. April Brown on Amazon to view all her books on improving intimacy for yourself, spouse, and more.
Welcome back to the show. Welcome, Evan Marc Katz. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, good. Yes, I'm so excited about you being on the show, and I know you are one of the original dating coaches here.
Yeah, when I started this 20 years ago, there was no such thing as a dating coach. As far as I know, I'm the first guy to do this, much less specialize as a man helping women understand men and make better dating relationship choices. So it's nice to have grown up and evolved this career to the point where when I started, I was a single guy. I've now been married for 15 years. And so I could speak about what it's like to be single and dating, and I could speak what it's like to be happily married.
Wow. So you started this off when you were dating yourself.
Yes.
And you realized that, hey, maybe we need some coaching in this process.
I think people who go into helping professions are often trying to work something out themselves. There's a reason that you're drawn to something. For me, love was always a very important thing that I was looking for. I wanted to recreate what I saw in my parents' marriage. I was very fortunate to have a functional family that I grew up around.
Right.
And it was hard. I had to go. I went on 300 dates before I got married. That is a unusual number, but that's what happens when you date once or twice a week for 10 years.
Wow, 300 dates. Yeah, definitely. That is a lot, but it helped you develop into this feel and creating something that is unique and special.
Again, if you go out with 300 women, you're going to get a lot of feedback about what you're doing wrong.
Okay. Yes. So one of the things we ask everybody who's on our show, because our show's about intimacy, what does intimacy mean to you? And then also, how does that impact the dating world for those people out there? What does that mean?
I think intimacy is something that comes later in a relationship. We could have the illusion of intimacy, right? People, right. We could say sex is an intimate act, right. but it doesn't mean that you feel intimately towards someone just because you're having sex. So to me, right. Intimacy is closer to the feeling of being known and seen by someone very clearly and being accepted by that person. That's true intimacy, is when you could let down your guard and be yourself and know that person is not going anywhere. And that's just a state that very few people actually get to.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, definitely. And I'm curious, as a dating coach, sometimes people come to you, and do you really have to kind of know yourself before you start dating? That self-intimacy, how does that work in there?
I think it becomes a bit of and again, with great respect to people who are social workers, therapists, psychologists, psychiatrists, it's not to negate the value of doing that inner work and looking back at your parents and figuring out how you became you. But it can become somewhat paralyzing. One can spend one's whole life doing the work.
That's true.
And you can't find love until you actually go on a date.
That's true.
So I know people will spend, 5-10 years reading up on stuff, doing the work, and their love life is nowhere. And so the nice part about dating coaches is that we have action plans. We help people move forward, and you don't necessarily need to have been in therapy for years to find someone who's willing to love you and accept you as you are. Everybody's got baggage. Plenty of people with baggage find love.
Right.
So I think it's not that therapy is overrated,
Right.
but rather people can start at any point in time to look forward and build a new life.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with you.
Sometimes therapy can almost be a crutch.
Mhm.
I want to be very respectful to therapists. I've coached
Well,
therapists.
yes, and I'm not saying don't.
Yeah. Yeah, I've coached therapists, and their belief, I can think of one client in particular, her belief was because she was a therapist and she'd seen so many case studies and worked with so many different people, she thought she could miraculously make any relationship work with her skill set. So she'd stay in bad relationships, trying to fix and change, instead of, my take is, if it takes a lot of work, find a different guy that doesn't take that much work. Right, which is a very different philosophy than most people, right? My belief is an unusual one. Good relationships are easy. If your relationship isn't easy, it's not that good.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
That is a different.
Right, right. But I mean, in the sense of easy, and then I'm thinking you're talking about like the communication is easy. You guys like the same stuff.
I think it's a default setting and a feeling. So
Okay.
I want to be very precise with my words.
Right.
Relationships take work is a thing that unhappy people have been telling us forever.
Okay.
Right? By definition, unhappy people who stay together, that relationship takes a lot of work.
Right.
That's not the life that I want, is to be in a relationship where it's a struggle. What are we going to do about us? Let's talk about us. Let's go into couples counseling. Man, it's like putting on a pair of shoes. If the shoes don't fit, put on a different pair of shoes. You don't force your foot in the shoe. So that doesn't mean that relationships are completely smooth sailing. Life is hard.
Right.
Illness and work, kids, challenges, money. Life is hard. That's exactly why your relationship should be easy. So together you could weather life, because you're on the page 90%, same page 90% of the time, instead of we're on the same page 10% of the time and we're trying to negotiate the 90%.
So you say work and then struggle. Do you see those as two, synonymous with each other when it comes to relationships, doing the work versus the struggle?
Again, the language, I want to be very precise. I think relationships, like watering a garden, take effort. It's an effort for me to put my wife's needs first, give her what she needs, right? Sacrifice for her, provide for her and her family, listen to her, validate her feelings. It's an effort to be the best man I can be, but it's not work like I'm working in a coal mine. It's not work like I hate doing it, I got to get out of here. It's effort. The same way that I would hope your day job takes effort. But if you hate your day job, maybe you're in the wrong job.
Right. Right. So even going into that about the wrong job, why do so many people just attract the wrong kind of men?
This is another really interesting and great question. I don't believe, and I'm glad we're leading with these somewhat controversial takes. Good relationships are easy. You won't hear that many places. I don't believe you attract the wrong person. And that's a thing that people pass around like wildfire. You're like a magnet. These horrible guys just come and stick to me against my will. You're attracted to the wrong person. You accept the wrong person and try to make it work with him, but you don't attract him, because there's other people who see a toxic narcissist and run.
Right.
And there's other people who are like, oh, that's like my dad. I'm going to keep on doing that.
Right.
So I don't think you attract people. I think you choose people, right? And then you accept their flaws. And sometimes it's too much to accept. So at any point in time, my metaphor is you're the CEO of your love life and men are the interns applying for a job. If you're the CEO and you don't like the way the intern's performing, you have to let the intern go, even if he's got a great resume.
Yeah. Don't treat dating like Grey's Anatomy, just keeping people around just because they're nice.
Again, I don't think any of this is easy to accomplish, but I think conceptually it's easy to understand.
Okay.
If you choose to date broken men who are incapable of monogamy, men who are congenital liars, men who have addiction issues, men who don't have jobs, men who are recently separated, men who never want to commit, men who are in other cities.
Right.
If you choose those men, there's not going to be a happy ending to the story, no matter how much you love them. So in Love You, my signature course, we just help people avoid those things up front so you don't have the predictable car crash at the end.
Okay. I wonder, for me and my belief system is to create a list of exactly, and I've done this, of what I wanted.
Okay.
You know? And so it's like a shopping list in the sense, like when you're hungry, if you have a shopping list, then you pick up exactly what you want, versus when you go to the grocery store and you don't have a list, then you sometimes pick up junk.
Okay, Dr. April, but what if you've got the wrong shopping list?
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother segment. Yes,
So
yes.
No, but I think that could be this segment if you will allow that.
Yes, yeah, definitely. Yes, yeah, definitely. Yes.
Right. So most people's shopping lists, and again, this could be reflective of my clients, right? Who are smart, strong, successful, college educated, six-figure earners in big cities. That's a certain kind of person who works with me. Her shopping list is usually tall, educated, rich, smart, funny, charismatic, because these are all attractive for most people. And I'm not going to judge anybody for saying, I find those traits attractive.
Right.
The problem is, if I handed you that guy, because you've had that guy before, and that relationship didn't work, did it not work because he was too short? Did it not work because he didn't have enough money? Did it not work? No, that's not why relationships fail. So the shopping list people have when they go online, here's what I'm attracted to, is the wrong list. The right list: character,
and values,
kindness, consistency, communication, commitment. Because if he's a Rhodes Scholar, Top Chef supermodel, but he's not kind, it doesn't matter what's on that list.
Right,
and
exactly.
so I try to help people get the right list down first. And doesn't come naturally to people, because we're more driven by attractive, what we find appealing, what we find familiar, rather than what's actually good for us in the long run.
Right, which is kind of why I was thinking, because the values are very important, values, goals, and belief system, which goes back to that other part of knowing yourself.
Sure. And I think I just think people have blind spots. Good people, self-aware people even have blind spots, because it's like eating unhealthy food. Think about how many people struggle with their weight.
Right.
It's not that they don't know what's healthy and unhealthy. A carrot stick healthy, a sleeve of Oreos unhealthy, right? Still, at the end of a hard day, we're going to reach for the Oreos, right? So we need to give people healthier diets. Let them know you can enjoy your food. It doesn't have to be just rice cakes and kale. You can actually enjoy your meals and eat healthy. But if you just go shopping in the junk food aisle, you can't complain that you're overweight.
Right, definitely.
And women do a lot of junk food shopping when it comes to men.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. So I like how you stated those, and what do you call them, traits? Those 5 things that you
I mean, again, I wouldn't call it the 5 C's, because I use the word kindness, but kindness, character, consistency, communication, commitment, maybe connection is another word. But these are necessary components of a happy relationship. If I don't know enough about you guys, but if you're happily married, you can't have a happy marriage without these things.
Exactly.
I apologize. It appears that someone is drilling outside my house. So I apologize for the sound of the drill.
Also, when you're dating coach, in the sense of helping women, besides, finding the person, but also where do they go to look?
Another really great question. And I think it's not the wrong question. It's the most common question. Where is he? Right. To me, that's like asking, what gym am I going to lose the most weight at?
Right.
Is it 24-hour fitness or Equinox? Which gym is going to help me more? The gym doesn't matter. What do you do at the gym? What do you do after the gym? Right? Every dating site is just a box filled with people. So everybody's looking for the best one with the best people. It literally does not matter, right? Because you can meet your husband standing, in line at the grocery store. You can meet him through mutual friends at a party. You can meet him on Bumble. The question is, who am I being? How am I showing up that's going to make the right man want to choose me? Right? Rather than where is he, like he's a needle in a haystack that you're looking for. He's not a needle in a haystack. Good men are everywhere. So in the opportunity where you do meet a good man, why is he going to choose you above everybody else is a more powerful question to ask.
And I like how you put is how you show up.
Yeah, because there's love comes in many, many forms, but there's limiting beliefs around love, right? It's very common. There's nothing unusual about it. But there's a lot of women, certainly women I work, my city, there's no good men in my city. There's no good men at my age. There's no good black men. There's stories, right? There's no, right? But look around. Look at all the happy couples. Just go outside. Are they all rich and gorgeous and good looking? And no, there's tons of couples, people who've managed to find each other miraculously in this crazy world. So I never really, I'm just a glass half empty person. Glass half full person when it comes to dating and relationships, because I get to witness happy relationships all the time when people are at the end of their rope and they think there's nothing out there. I'm doomed. I'm going to be alone.
Okay. So Evan Marc Katz, since you've been a dating coach for all these years, 20 years, what are 3 top suggestions would you give for women who are very busy, who are listening and they're like, I cannot find the right man? What are 3 tips you can give them?
Let's see. First one, again, I've got a course which is called Love You. There's 280 videos in there. It's a massive online course.
Okay.
So choose your 3. It's, which of your kids is your favorite kid? It's really hard to reduce that to 3 tips. But I'll try because
you can do 5 tips if you want.
My point is, Dr. April, for you, I'll do whatever you want.
Okay.
We talked about it earlier. There's no relationship, there's no marriage without dating.
Right.
People want the end result. Where's my husband? Can't he just come down my chimney like Santa? And that's just not how it works, right? You would not look for a job by sitting on a couch hoping that someone pulls you through the door. You would not attempt to lose weight by sitting at home without dieting or going to the gym. So this is a process. The way you can at least put yourself in the game is to set up a dating practice, half hour a day. Right? Now we could refine the dating process. There's better ways to date than others. But if you like doing high intensity cardio at the gym, if you give a half hour a day to online dating, when someone's like, well, that's a lot of time. You're working 50 hours a week. I'm asking you to give me a half hour a day, like eating and sleeping and showering, a half hour a day to talk to guys online. If you go out with 1 guy a week, I predict you're going to find someone you like in the next 6 months.
Wow. Okay.
It's math. It would be hard not to find someone you like if you screen for quality men and go on 1 decent date with a guy who's put some skin in the game each week. So that's a great place to start. People go on 1 or 2 dates a year by meeting guys in real life and like, can't believe it's another year went by and I didn't find love.
Right.
Can't believe I didn't get a job. I went on 1 interview.
Right. You got to get out there and, like you said, spend time looking through those profiles and yeah, definitely.
So then the next thing I would probably advise is sort of a component of what we were talking about earlier. You want to expand your aperture. You want to widen what you're looking for. We collectively, I can't speak for you, but people in general tend to choose what is familiar. They basically want to date the opposite sex version of themselves. Right? And the problem is not that that's not inherently a good or a bad thing. It's that it's limiting. So I'm guilty of that. That's how you go on 300 dates. You think, oh, I know what my type is. I know what I'm looking for. And then one day you look up, you're like, evidently I don't know anything because the person I married is nothing like me. Huh, what a revelation. Maybe if I widened my choices at the beginning, I could have found her earlier because we were both on Match.com at the same time. but I wasn't looking for a woman 3 years older. She wasn't looking for a guy who was Jewish. So we would be ship passing in the night. All right. So we know that in real life, when you meet someone, you throw all that stuff out the window.
Right.
But online, where most people are dating these days, we get very, very specific with what we're looking for, and then we leave a whole bunch of really great people out. So that's another important tip. And then probably the last one is sort of working backwards from what we said earlier. We overvalue the wrong traits, and we undervalue the wrong traits. We will elevate the guy who's 6 feet tall, who has a master's degree, which again, I can see why that's attractive to people, right? But if that guy travels 20 weeks a year and cheats on me, I'll figure out how to work with that, put up with it. Instead of, okay, he's got a high school education, but he makes 75 grand a year and he treats me like a queen.
Mm-hmm.
So you're always given a choice. How do I feel within the relationship? Listen to your feelings. They don't lie. To have a guy who's a great catch, but not be happy in the relationship, you're actually settling. You're not settling if you're dating a guy who's different than you, but you are settling if you have a relationship where you don't feel safe, heard, and understood.
Wow. That was, and I really like how you ended the last part about trust your feeling, trust your gut.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. And you even said earlier when we talked about, you just don't try to make it happen, and do so much work when really it should be easy flowing in some aspect. Definitely.
I hope your marriages are as happy and easy and functional, where we agree 90% of the time,
Yes.
and then 10% is negotiable and you work through it. But there's never the pretense that any disagreement is going to end the relationship, ever.
Yes, right. Exactly.
Right? So this is the thing that married people, happily married people, it's a not so secret secret. We just have to be able to articulate it to people who are struggling.
Mm-hmm. Right. And like you said, actually spending the time to focus on, if relationships is important for you, even if you're a busy woman, then you've got to find the time to focus on that.
If we prioritize it, it happens. It's anything in the world. We think dating is luck. If we start to think of it as a skill, like building a website or playing piano or dribbling a basketball, if you just realize it's a thing that requires practice and skill, and you can iterate and build up a certain muscle, then you realize happy relationships are achievable for anybody.
Right. Definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing all that. So if people out there listening and they want to connect with you, tell us how we can find you and what resources you have. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. April. My name is Evan Marc Katz, Mark with a C, Katz with a K. I like to think I'm pretty Googleable because I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I got a blog with 1,000 articles that I've written, a podcast with 300 episodes called the Love You Podcast. And the gift I want to give to your readers today, you can go to my website, evanmarckatz.com/dating, and give me your name and email address, and I'll send you a report. The top seven massive mistakes you're making in dating, because a lot of people have blind spots around something that they do a lot of, but don't know why it's not going well. So I've got this 25-page special report for women who are struggling with dating specifically, evanmarckatz.com/dating.
Oh, definitely. I'm definitely going to check that out. And send it to, if you have people go online to connect with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You guys are wonderful. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to your audience. I hope I was helpful today.
Yes, you definitely will. Yeah. This has been the Bringing Intimacy Back show, and we'll be back in a moment.
Renew your love in beautiful tropical Costa Rica, the romantic getaway with your loved one. We'll make sure it happens. Vacation Counseling provides one-on-one counseling, intimacy sessions, yoga, ziplining, and so much more to help you and your partner rekindle the passion. Join us this summer in Costa Rica with Vacation Counseling. Book today on vacationcounseling.com.
Welcome back to the Bringing Intimacy show, where intimacy is real. Yes, that was such a wonderful take on relationships.
It really was. I enjoyed it because it was so just straightforward. It was transparent. It was honest. And
Right.
that's what I think a lot of people, especially in this dating world, need, is just transparency and honesty. Like, if you don't put in the work, you're going to keep getting crap. That's just the bottom line.
Definitely.
About putting in the work, just, getting with, if you need help, get a dating coach. Why not? You get help with everything else. If you get a stylist to find the best pair of shoes. So if you're looking for the best partner in your life, duh, why not get a dating coach?
Yes, definitely. And he's taking on new clients, I'm assuming. So definitely go to his website at Evan Marc Katz, and it's EvanMarckKatz.com. All right. So, Coach K, what's coming up?
Right before we go to that, because just hearing that commercial, it makes me remember that you have the vacation coming up this summer, but didn't you have a special code for your listeners?
Yes, I do have a special code for my listeners. Yes, I totally forgot about that. So if you're out there and you're thinking, oh my gosh, maybe we need a vacation, or maybe we need to reconnect, or we need something to get our passion back, send me an email at drapril@bringingintimacyback, and you will get a discount code up to $500 off of a retreat. And even if you're thinking about, hey, I just me and I just need some getaway time, contact me, because we also do solo trips for singles and individuals. Yes.
I love that. I wanted to make sure that the listeners, they got that, because that's a good deal, y'all. Get on that. So speaking of, we have some amazing shows that are coming up. And next week on May the 4th be with you, we are going to be talking about couples retreats. Me and Dr. April will be talking about that. On May the 11th, we have, it's going to be kind of a special one. So we are going to let you know about that one. So make sure you stay tuned. On the 18th, we do have the emotional roller coaster triggers with myself and Dr. April. That's going to be a really good one. And then on May the 25th, we're going to have the magic of connection with Tom Glaser. Forgive me, Tom. Forgive me.
All right. Yes. So we do have some exciting shows coming up, and we're excited about May. May is Mental Health Month, and so we'll be talking a little bit about that in relationships. So we will see you guys next week. It's been a great show, and thank you guys so much. This has been the Bringing Intimacy Back show. If you like us, please let us know either on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and rate us on your podcast. All right. See you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for listening to today's episode of Bringing Intimacy Back, where intimacy is real. You can also find us at bringingintimacyback.com, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Dr. April Brown's 7-book series, Improving Intimacy, is now on Amazon. We'll see you next Thursday at 3:30 p.m. Don't forget to follow, share, and subscribe.